Let's talk about final frost because it is so important and it is so elusive. When is it going to happen? We just don't know, but we have a general idea. Let me tell you a little story because I've done a little bit of research recently that has kind of transformed my understanding and appreciation of final frost. So here's the thing, I grew up in Zone 5 here in the Finger Lakes in Western New York, and I grew up, and I'm still a little girl, I'll always be a little girl, but I've been gardening for a few decades, and ever since I've been a little girl, I've known deep in my bones that final frost is Memorial Day, that you don't plant out your tomatoes, basil, anything frost sensitive until Memorial Day, and I'm constantly questioning myself in the world, and I'm also a believer in climate change, and so I'm like, let's talk about final frost. And is indeed Memorial Day the true, is that still a good barometer of when to plant our frost sensitive things? And so here's what I've learned. I went to the NOAA website, the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Association, and they have all of this amazing data from any given county, any given place, all over the United States from the last 150 years. It's pretty impressive. And so all of that is yours to take a look at for free. So I spent some time and I learned that in fact, having it frost on May 1st be our final frost hasn't been unusual in the last 50 years. So even though we've had some much earlier than Memorial Day frost in the last decade that I've been farming here, all of a sudden it is actually not that unusual. But here's the thing, even when it frosts, the final technical freezing frost on May 1st, it's still going to be nights in the 30s, in the 40s consistently until about Memorial Day. And so there are certainly things like zinnias that you can plant out that would prefer to not be frosted, but they're not going to blink if it's in the low 40s. Where these tomatoes that I'm holding would sincerely be sad. And certainly any pepper that I planted, even if it was final frost was May 1st, if I planted them May 2nd, they would likely be stunted and pout because they had experienced a number of 40-degree nights. They preferably would like to not even experience one night below 50 degrees. And I can't blame them. They're super tropical, they're relentlessly tropical, even though we've been domesticating them for thousands of years. And bless them, we can plant them out when the when the soil is warm, when the air is warm, we can plant them out after Memorial Day. So in conclusion, certainly we might have the final frost be well before Memorial Day. But friends, if you really want happy, healthy, solanaceous tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, basil, the things that are truly frost sensitive, hold off until Memorial Day to plant them if you're here in the Finger Lakes, in Zone 5, or colder climates.